Would you like to know more? Would you like to know more?
Okay, welcome to War Master Podcast, episode 152 with Paul and Barry and Leon from Leonswerk.
Hello, listeners,
Hello.
and welcome, Leon.
Hey, hello. Thanks, Barry and Paul, for having me. Great honor to be here. Thanks.
A great honor,
It's
fantastic.
Leonswerk. It's not Leonworks, is it? It's
I guess
the work of Leon. The work of Leon.
Yeah, that's kind of it. My father came up with the name. So I didn't know what to call it, so he said Leonswerk would be the name. But it's essentially is my Leon, my name, and work. Kind of in German it means basically, so I'm German, as you might be able to tell. It means basically kind of working, but also Werk is also like a factory or something like that. So it's two meanings.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Bit of culture, that's always good. Learning new stuff. Every
Yeah.
school day.
Yep.
Days of school day. Right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is Leon's Kickstarter, which is in, let's share the screen and we can see where we're at. We're on day 9, isn't it, or something? Is that right?
There's 9 days left.
9 days left.
Yes.
Was it 21 days in total?
Yes. I wanted to have it nice and short.
Yeah, I've seen people go like 45 days, 60 days. It's just a train wreck. By the time you're getting towards 60 days, your nerves are shot. You're sick of answering questions. Yeah,
I can imagine. Yeah.
it's just too much. It's too much. I think the shorter the better, but 21 days is probably about right. I would have thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's behind the idea, and how did you actually do it? Because you're a talented fella. Because this is all you. All you, the art's you, the sculpts are you. It's all you.
Yeah. So Leon, imagine the listener hasn't heard of your Kickstarter. Sell it to us.
So okay. So my name is Leon, and I'm actually just a wargaming enthusiast. I play Warhammer and things like that for several years, and really I'm into the painting aspect and the hobbying aspect. And at one point in time, I just fell in love with this 10mm scale wargaming, and started sculpting models first for myself, and then I posted these online in various Facebook groups, and people were really enthusiastic, and that also made me enthusiastic. And I thought, okay, I could maybe also sculpt my own entire line of dark elves or dread elves. That's basically the main story. So I wanted to create an army that I would love to play, that I would love to see on the battlefield. And for me, these dark elves are really these sinister but elegant, deadly, and kind of Viking pirate type of creatures. So I wanted to have this evil-spirited army, and wanted also to make it available to everyone else. Because also I saw that this army in particular is difficult to get for War Master, as the original figures are really expensive, and there are not too many, I find, not too many complete alternatives. So that's why I wanted to make the ultimate range of Dark Elf figures.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Okay, good stuff.
So I got a couple of questions there. So is this your first Kickstarter?
It is my first Kickstarter, yeah.
Fantastic. And you say you're sculpting themselves. So as a self-taught skill, how long did it take you to learn that skill to what you've got on show?
Yeah. So I mean, basically, I've been converting stuff since a long time, but the actual sculpting took me about 2 years to learn that. And the reason why I started is also because I saw in these various Facebook groups people posting pictures of their own sculpted minis. One guy I remember just made a great unclean one, really nice sculpt, and he took the Forge World model as a reference. Mm-hmm. And that's a really, really good entry point. It was a good entry point for me to take a reference of a cool looking figure and then try to model it or to make it from green stuff. And this is also some advice I can give to anyone who's interested into, or at least curious about sculpting. It's less difficult than it looks. I think the most important thing is to have a nice reference. For example, Forge World model, and then just be very slow and start with baby steps. Watch a few YouTube tutorials. There's an excellent channel from Tom Mason, and he has a whole series on miniature sculpting, also 10mm miniatures. And then you find a few points and just start doing it, and then all the stuff will follow, I guess.
Fantastic. So so with this Kickstarter, like, are you gonna, so you've done the sculpting of it, are you then gonna do the casting, or where the model's gonna get made?
No, that's also something I also copied from the brave, how do you call that? Well, from Barry and from John Braceby, who are members of the community, and I think did a great service to the community by just.
Did Barry really do a great service, to be honest? I mean, you know, like, you know, I find him quite difficult to work with at times.
Like talentless, just a production droid. That's what he is.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've produced 2 miniature lines. One of them I possess, or at least some of the demons I supported, and I think it's a wonderful idea to start these kind of projects and bring that to life. So yeah, that was the first point where I saw that this is possible to actually produce them using external casters. John Braceby from Chromatic Forge has a similar model, sort of. He sculpts the figures and also has external casting and molding services who are professionals in producing their lines, the figures. So I thought I could try the same route.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Interesting. If I could go back in time, tell myself not to do the casting internally, I would have sent the casting out. That may have changed my business model and what I had to do, because then I would literally be doing nothing. But
that's the only thing. That's the only thing you do, Barry.
Yeah, but that's the kind of laborious, time-consuming bit. But your time is skill. Your time is endless. Skills. Yes, that's true. That's sculpting. Sculpting's a skill. So you kind of, I don't know how many hours it took you to sculpt this. I would imagine it's several hundred. I would have thought.
I'm now guessing for a single infantry figure, I probably require something like 3 to 4 hours. I would assume, or 2 to 4 hours maybe. And the large models may take considerably longer.
Fantastic. So, I mean, I've looked, obviously beforehand, I looked at the Kickstarter. You've certainly done your homework. You've got the entire range out there, you know, and you've got, you know, very sensible, I think, like goals to reach and like funding things. It's like I can't fault any of that. And it's, say, looking at it is like as a punter, is like, oh, I could do the entire Dark Elf range there, and it's got all the options I would want. I mean, yeah, 100% there. You've left nothing out. So, well, fair play.
Oh, so thanks very much.
let's get the screen up now. I did put it up for a second, but now we're not going to look at the video, but we're going to look at some pictures. Hopefully, we've got some pictures in the story. Yeah, we've got some here. So your spearmen, the individual sculpts, they're not on strips or anything, so you can pose them however you like.
Yes, they're all individual. 4 different poses and like a command group, and the skulls you see on the shields are just painted on there, so they're blank skulls, blank shields. Sorry, so you can put decos on it or be freehand, whatever you like.
Leon, so tell me about your design there. So there's your core unit, your Dark Elf Spearman. Have you taken a nod from a particular Dark Elf range, or like, or is this your own imagining, or some artwork that you was like, oh, that's the kind of Dark Elf I want to look at? Because they look to me like influence like 90s heavy metal. Like there's some original Dark Elf art, looks to me like in terms of that's, you know, with that style you've gone for. But yeah, please explain.
Well, that could very well be. Well, I try to not have I try to not copy directly from GW. Or
of course, yeah.
I tried to come up with my own design, but to be honest, of course, it's all deeply ingrained in my mind. It's difficult to get away from that. But this also took most of the time to design or to come up with design for the spearman took the most of time in making a drawing or something, because I've needed to figure out these basically set the tone for the entire army, because I tried all the infantry models are basically somehow variations of that theme.
Yep.
So did you use dollies for the spearmen, or did you just do all the 7 sculpts individually?
Yeah, they're all sculpted individually. Just made a wire frame, and then green stuff the rest on there. And
excellent. And then we've got crossbowmen. See, the good thing about this is if you were playing a different game, like maybe Kings of War, you could do those kind of scenic bases and stuff with these, rather than being constrained to strips.
Yeah, I am actually not a War Master player yet. I do have a Tomb King's army, which is around 1,000 points, but we don't have many players here, or at least I don't know many. So I primarily use them for Minihammer, which is basically Warhammer Fantasy using 10mm scale figures. And that's why I also kept them, or wanted to keep them loose, so that people from any system can just use them.
So in Minihammer, do you take miniatures off individually still, or do you use recording on the base for the whole unit?
Well, we do actually take away individual miniatures.
Oh my god!
Well, fair play to you.
I'm just imagining Barry's fat fingers trying to like pick up an individual 10mm model. Like,
let me just say, we don't have many Skaven players in our group.
Oh, goblin players. Oh,
oh my god.
No. But you can work with multi-bases. So you just take those War Master bases and place 8 on top, and you just have a few miniatures on a single basis, and then you can figure it out.
Yeah, it could be like an abacus. You can have some on 1s, some on 5s. Brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got some excellent. Well, look at these fellas here, these harpies.
Harpies.
Yeah.
I love the fact they're at different heights. That's fantastic.
Well, the different heights, they are just, okay, this is just the base, obviously.
That's your basing, isn't it? I thought.
Well done, Barry. That's not.
No, it's true, but look, it looks really good. Did you do the painting?
Yeah. Wait,
I did all the painting, yeah.
It looks brilliant. It looks brilliant.
Thanks.
You're too talented, sir. This is sickening for a brat like me. You can paint, you can sculpt.
Thanks a lot.
Do you do your own theme music as well?
No. I looked that up from the internet.
Well, at least that's something I went at. I can do steel music. Right, they're brilliant. The harpies.
Yeah, they look really good.
They do look really good. What have we got here?
Witch elves.
Nice.
So yeah, I don't have a full story behind it, but I just wanted them to look really like these deadly. For me, these witch elves are always kind of a Slaneshi type unit.
Because in the past they've been an army list that is a variant of it has been a Slanesh, like dark elf army, which is like see, you've gone for a more, I would say, armored look to a witch elf, like rather than somebody walking around in their loincloth. But that's not bad. That's like that's cool. It's not. What is important with this kind of thing is that you're consistent in terms of a style across the whole range, because that then is because in way War Master is obviously, as you know, is a complete army, and this is so again it's like that is my complete army. The look of these is all everything. Oh, I love that stuff. Like the Dark Riders, they're fantastic.
Yeah, I like them too. Well, and also other people like them. So for me, these Dark Riders are a bit like the. I always have to think of the Nazgul in the Lord of the Rings somehow. Yeah. So these.
Brilliant.
They're fantastic. It's so nice to see a whole range. I think that's if I could give one piece of advice, it would be to have a range, because people really are wary about buying anything when they don't know the end point. They don't know that everything's going to be there.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. The cold ones.
Cold one nights. Barry would have a few of them.
I think people normally have between 4 and 6, don't they?
I mean, so the accepted tournament list of Dark Elves, if you're gonna be Barry for it, then that is like 4 to 6 units of cold ones there.
Yeah, and There will be 12 in the unit pack, but as you see, they're quite large. So I
Yeah.
think they would also really look really nicely if you just put 3 on the base.
Yeah. And mix.
Yeah.
I mean, you can mix, and that's a way you can mix them up, like and create, because you just have to get. So as long as the stands can fit together, however you base them, then that's your way. You can always replace the stands around for like to take casualties off. It's like because the way that people use like command stands in Warmaster, it doesn't. They can just be always the last one remaining.
Oh,
See, cavalry, along with archers, are the bases that look better when they're separated. So when they're cast as like strips, the archers that are shooting each other in the head.
Yeah, that's terrible look.
The cavalry where the lances are going kind of all connected with each other. You have to do it to make the miniature.
No, there's practical purposes, but like certainly like somebody like myself, I've always with those classic GW like crossbowmen 2 strips, you cut them off, and that sometimes is better than easier than others. But you can then bridge them in a 2-rank system, well, the second rank isn't literally doing shooting the first one, and you can have more kneeling models in the front rank, and that to me that's always looked better. Anyway.
Yeah, but I think that these cavalry, like you say, you could mount them as 3s. That wouldn't be an issue at all.
No, not at all.
And also, if you were reversing them, so they were going wide ways in a different game system, potentially, then you could do that, which you can't do with the strips very easily at all.
Yeah, and it also means you can, if you put the 3 on there, you can just you buy 3 units, and then you can have a 4th extra,
which is always good.
That's true. It's true. That's true. What have we got? Old crossbows. Oh, big bolters.
Bolter.
The artillery purpose.
Is that a spearman? Is that a different fella?
No, it's a different model, and the spear is slightly different. It's supposed to match the spear on the bolter itself.
Yeah, so he's got ammunition.
Yes, he's the one with the 1 spear. I'm assuming these should only twice per battle, so
they don't tend to miss.
Yeah.
Oh wow, a hydra.
Yeah, this one's got only 3 heads. Well, I like it that way. I was also considering maybe adding a 5th one, but I think this one looks kind of nice. I would call it a young hydra. Maybe if it gets older, it gets 5 heads.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, you're not limited on the amount there. You can make it up whatever you want.
Okay, and then we have a manticore.
Now that looks like a classic Dark Elf model to me, because there was, I'm sure that image of a manticore with a proper lion head is. Oh, I'm trying to think now what bit of Dark Elf like history and lore that comes from. Trying to think, but that's really iconically Dark Elf to me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this also out of my line of one of my favorite figures, because I think the manticore itself is just a cool monster, and I wanted to keep it old school in a way that looks like a traditional manticore. Were
you tempted to do alternative like beasts or something, and like in terms of like this in the game has called a hydra, but I'm representing it in a different way, or just did that ever cross your mind?
Yes and no. So first of all, I wanted to cover all the classic units.
Yep.
But then also in the 9th Age, so the system I'm playing, there's also additional units. One is called Kraken. That could be also a cool addition, like a sea monster type.
Yep.
But so far, I haven't managed to sculpt an extra one. So we'll see.
And we have a hero pack, 4 heroes on foot, 1 lord in a chariot, and a standard bearer on a rat.
Is the Lord of Chariot actually used? Because I guess I don't really play.
So a chariot is a 10-point upgrade to a character mount in the army list that have them. It's not as simple as a magic item in terms of it gives you a negative as well as a buff, which is like a +1 to attack, which is always handy, but then also restricts where the character can fit in terms of can't go in the right certain bits of scenery because there is a wheeled chariot. But it would get used. Like if you were going to, it's important that it's an option there, because yes, like if you're trying to it's only a 10-point item, and at times rounding Warmaster lists out to be an exact 2,000 points is difficult. So there's not many on the lower point scale. There's not as many levers to pull, and they're and as going when you go away from magic items, for example. So no, it's definitely like you could build a cheap combat character by making that like a hero on a chariot with a magic item. It's not as good as a mounted like flight or a character on a manticore, but it still have a game purpose. It would still it'd still see play. And it'd be down to list building then.
Good, because I sometimes don't know when I sculpt the figures. Are they actually used in the game? For instance, the witch elves, I understand, are not that widely used.
Well, I mean, hang on, right? Okay, so I'm sure if you listen to the podcast, right, Barry might not use them, but that's not everyone plays like Barry, all right? Is in like so no, you they would get played. I mean, would get played by most people, definitely.
Oh, good.
There's always a chance stuff can get better in the game anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Game's not dead. It just seems it's just sleeping.
I don't know. I mean, when I look at all these figures that could get produced, well, I mean, you are probably the people that actually play the game more, but it seems like it's actually okay. It's not many people play it, but it seems that it's rather growing than.
Well, I mean, this is the main topic of like what we have going to be recording about today is like how is what 2020's done for the game system. I mean, it's certainly it seems to have more numbers connected with it. Definitely, on social media, definitely at the moment.
Okay, so your character pack looks really good, and I think just to talk about pricing, is it everything's priced the same?
It is.
Okay. Keeps it simple.
Keeps it simple to just choose everything. I also contemplated making some units cheaper, some more expensive, but then I ended up just having one price because I was hoping that everybody was just buy everything.
I think that's how John runs his. He kind of has currency around skulls or whatever. Mm-hmm. You purchase so many skulls, and a skull is worth a unit or whatever it was on the.
He had this amazing mammoth, and in his
the Norse one, yeah, it was crazy.
It was huge, but
huge.
The moment I opened the package and I really had it in my hands, I saw, wow, this is really huge. Yeah, it was really cool.
Did you see that the kind of infill, the way you get the resin in miniature, has been turned into a scenic base thing?
Yeah.
It's crazy. That was insane. No resin was wasted. And, we got some stretch goals.
Yes, the coursers. So the alternative unit for the spare elves.
Yeah, because they're a unit that GW made models of, but never rules. Yep.
Okay, so they're just like your variant. They're the same rules as spearman, but
alternative spearman.
Yeah. I mean, in my high elf army, I've got white lions and phoenix guard and swords masters and spearmen, but they're all the same model in the game. But just looks cool. Mm-hmm. Medusa. Ooh.
Medusa. Here we go.
So this is actually the second Medusa. I have a smaller one which I made first.
Pack. Yep.
Oh yeah.
But then I was
in her hand a heart or something.
Exactly. Yeah, she's having a heart in her hands.
No, it's just a really bloody orange.
Oh, it could have been an apple. Big red apple.
Could be.
Okay, so that's fantastic. Big Medusa. This a bigger Medusa then?
Yeah, she's a bit taller. So she's like. I don't know, maybe like 20 mil in height or something like that.
Okay, so that's like bigger than an ogre. That's a fair size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then we have blood cauldron. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was because this model, DW didn't make a actual copy of. So it's interesting to see your interpretation on this.
Yes, it was. I mean, I know. The GW, the recent ones I really like with these staircases.
Yeah. So in the Age of Sigmar range, so like they Blood Rack Medusa or something like that. Yeah, but they are centerpiece things because Age of Sigmar likes its huge centerpiece models to to demonstrate. So this is really interesting to see how you've represented it.
And that's still just a 40 by 20 base.
No, this is 25 by 50.
Okay.
So say Warhammer Fantasy Cavalry base.
Okay. So, but characters don't. The base size is irrelevant in Warmaster. But I was amazed you got so much stuff on a 40 by 20. I thought this must be bigger than that, but it is bigger. Yeah.
if you cramp it, you could maybe get it on a.
To be honest, it doesn't matter, Leo, because I say in character bases in Warmaster, it doesn't matter how big they are. They're just measured from the center. And it's there is like the famous one is a Empire Grand Theologist, which is but is just huge basically, and it's a tiny item in the game. So that's all it is. It's just an item that but the GW did a model that I guess they made the model before they made the rules in that situation.
Yeah. And
for my 50th birthday, Chris made me an ogre tyrant, didn't he, on some kind of crazy big mammoth. That must be. It's on like a dinner plate. It's so big, the base.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Right, that's fantastic. So, and then you've got various different buy-in points for pledges, getting you discounts if you buy. The more you get, the more free stuff you get.
Yeah, it's basically at 110 you get 1 extra unit, and at 120 you get 3 extra units, and if you buy for 330 you get I think 5, and so on. But that hasn't happened yet. So people are still in the 110s and 120 ranges.
Okay, I mean it.
Yeah, give it time.
Yeah, give it time. You're in an enviable position in that you don't have a lot. I mean, there's a lot of your time wound up in this, and I'm not saying that's free. Your time certainly isn't free, but you don't have a tremendous break-even point.
No, that's true.
The points were like $7,000, I think.
Yeah. Wow. No, I'm really quite impressed that you made that you still did it. I mean,
it wasn't lightly done, like Leon. It's like,
yeah, but I mean, it's really dedication, right? You made a line that didn't exist before to provide for the community. Or maybe you also thought that you would get rich from this. I don't know.
No, there was never any doubt about that. Oh dear. So, when does it finish? What's the date? And then, obviously, we'll talk about it in the episode a bit later, and we're also I'll put some stuff on our Facebook and stuff. So, what date finish?
It's on the 8th of January, 6:41 p.m. CET. So. Around say 5 o'clock UK time. Yep. And 6 o'clock here. And I'm also working on another stretch goal. Maybe a bit. And I can, if I'm allowed to share the screen, I could give you a sneak.
Oh yeah. So if I stop sharing, and you should be able to start sharing now. Just check.
The host disabled participants screen sharing, I guess. Oh no, wait, something comes up now. Let me just. Okay. Yeah. So this is the Black Guard. I'm sculpting.
Oh, fantastic!
So far, I'm 3 figures in.
Let me have a look.
That's really cool because that's a unit that's a unit that GW didn't do at Warmaster scale.
Yes.
Yeah, Black Guard and Nagaroth. Yeah.
So what were these again? Proxy spearmen.
In the Dark Elf list, yeah. I mean, you could, they'd be the best fit for spearmen, but they could at a push be witch elves, I suppose, as well if you wanted to. But Dark Elf spearmen would be best.
So these are like the equivalent of Phoenix Guard for them.
Yeah, literally. They're elite Dark Elf. They're the basically elite soldiers of the Witch King in the fluff. They're like, which is basically they're a direct like alternative to Phoenix Guard, like the Dark Cousins.
That's fantastic. And you still going to work then? Is you still doing this on the train every morning?
I started doing that, but since we have Corona, I can work from home.
Yeah.
So it's also less shaky and better for the sculpting in the end. So I do that at home when the kids are asleep.
I imagine. So you say, Leon, you're currently living in Holland at the moment.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine the trains there run very smoothly and don't shake at all compared to British trains.
Well, I haven't. I haven't been to British trains too much.
You don't want
only in Scotland. No, but I mean the train system runs smoothly, but there are also after a while, when you do this every day, you figure out some parts of the track which are less well maintained.
That's when you can work. Yeah.
That's when shaking starts, and then you just.
I like it. It's like I can tell where I am by the vibrations. Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly.
So theoretically this goes well. Do you plan to do other stuff?
Well, this depends on how this turns out.
How well it does, yeah.
Yeah, if we get it funded, my first priority is to somehow make all the figures available. So even if we don't reach the stretch goals, I'm trying to figure out either investing myself or trying to get so that all the stretch goals can be done, because I think now is the time to cast the stuff and to make the range complete.
Yeah, that's right.
And the next thing I would be personally interested would be Chaos Dwarves.
Leon, that is a good choice, because right now Chaos Dwarves are an untapped, like an unowned range right now. So
it was tapped about 18 months ago, but it's still not.
But this is this is legitly coming on market, isn't it? So with your so choosing Dark Elves is a good range, exactly as you say, because like Dark Elf original models for Games Workshop go for a lot of money now, unless you're finding a source for a recaster, they are like, and I do not know of an alternative range at the moment company that does a complete Dark Elf. They're obviously, you can always proxy, do a gym special and proxy it from something else. You can do that for anything, but I don't know right now of an alternative. So to go down this route, yes, to use Chaos Dwarves is a brilliant choice actually, because the sooner you get it out there and own that in terms of like, I am doing a Chaos Dwarf range, then it's not like planting your flag, because obviously like competitiveness like is never a bad thing, I don't think, but it's that's a good one to go for.
I mean, there's a lot of things on the horizon with the 3D printing companies, so I'm sure we also get a lot of
as long as you make Chaos Dwarves with big hats, like it's got to have some hats in there, like if you can.
I would actually like them more to be like well, I've never played Chaos Dwarves, but the very old school Chaos Dwarves, which are like Chaos Warriors.
Yeah, so Forge World did a range of Chaos Dwarves, didn't they? Like, who looked far more, well, chaos for want of a better word. As in, I get what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm not a big fan of the silly big hat. No, they look no.
That was like the best thing. Like
whatever.
All right.
It's
anyway,
like,
each their own.
I've got a hat that's bigger than me. No.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
No. No.
All right.
Like dwarves out of Lord of the Rings, like Dane's boys or something. Those kind of hard ass looking dwarves.
Okay, but like they're a bit too. No, they're good, aren't they? Like you have to make them look evil in some way.
Oh, wait, we'll give them a different coloured beard. Give them a black beard.
A black beard. All right.
Anyway, have we stopped sharing that screen? Is that?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, we're probably gonna have to leave it there, Leon. So I'll keep my eyes on it and I'll keep my fingers crossed, and hopefully we get there.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks for the opportunity. It's really nice being here and talking to you. And hope to hear some more great content in the future, and then see you.
Oh, we're not going anywhere. Don't worry about that.
And if you ever do any more stuff, then feel free to come back on and discuss it with me.
Yeah, please.
Thanks. Great. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Phil.
Would you like to know more?